Hi, I'm Durhane Wong-Rieger, President of the Canadian Organization for Rare Disorders. Really pleased to give a bit of an update in terms of where we are with CORD here in Canada, but also some of the advances and challenges we've got in terms of rare diseases. One of the most important things that we did last year was actually launch Rare Alliance Canada, which for us is that national strategy for rare diseases, hoping to bring in all of the communities. So we're going to be looking at bringing in the clinics, the researchers, the community folks, the special education folks, the reimbursement community, as well as obviously research all the way through it. The goal is to really have rare diseases be recognized as a public health issue and be addressed in a comprehensive way across many sectors right around across Canada with one common platform. We actually got great response to this from the Parliament, where we launched the program for Rare Disease Day last year. Our big success last year was getting Ontario to actually stand up and say, we like what we're hearing, we see the importance of it. We're going to launch Ontario's rare disease strategy, which will take the platform that you've got and begin to implement it in Ontario. So we're looking forward very much to the working group that the Minister is putting together to stand up and actually begin to put together some of the pieces of a rare disease strategy. I can tell you this is a huge advance for us, where 5 years ago there was almost a rejection of rare diseases as being important. Certainly 10 years ago, Health Canada had said already, we don't need rare diseases in Canada, we don't need any orphan drug strategy because other people are doing it, we're doing okay. And it took us a great deal of education, awareness, flat out advocacy to begin to make a different impression. We've been very excited because we know that there are many pockets of expertise right across Canada that have been doing rare diseases, everything from developing basic forms to actually grow and to study cultures for rare diseases, to huge advances in genetic testing, genome sequencing. We're probably the leaders, one of the leaders in the world in being able to identify and detect rare diseases using the genome. We know that there's great pockets in terms of clinical expertise, research going on, but it's never come together. It's never been seen as having a meaningful impact. And now we have the opportunity with Rare Alliance Canada to actually bring all those pieces together and to create an overall program. We keep saying, you know, we call it going from worst to first. You know, for many years, Canada was the only country without any definition of orphan drugs, no platform for orphan drugs, no definition for rare diseases. We're still fighting to get that official parliamentary approval in terms of the platform. But in the meantime, we have made huge advances in actually implementing many of these pieces, and we've gotten huge response from all stakeholders in terms of coming on board. We've gone in court from a population of having about 25 patient groups about 15 years ago, 40 patient groups maybe about 10 years ago, to over 100 patient groups in Canada now. And many of our groups obviously linked internationally. We actually sit on a lot of international boards and committees, and we are seen as one of the countries that's made some of the biggest advances in rare diseases. So we have seen huge response to some of the initiatives that we're doing. I mean, based on where we want to be, if we look at where we are today, I would say we're about 35% of the way there, but that is probably many orders of magnitude from where we started. And we are very excited also in terms of the amount of education that the patients are getting and also stepping forward. We have a program that we call the Expert Patient Program, the Patient Ambassadors Program, where we're training patients to be ambassadors for rare diseases, so they understand how to speak about rare diseases. They have tools and our materials that they can go and they speak it everywhere from, you know, political kinds of functions to research clinical functions to speaking with other patient groups to really engage them. One of our goals is not only to spread the message, but also to get more patients and more patient groups working together. The collaboration is really essential, and I think in that respect, Canada does a wonderful job because people do really want to come together, they want to support. We host a number of conferences every year. We do a lot of training, and training from everything from policy issues and research and development, but also on how to set up and run a patient group. So I think in some respects we are really very excited and feel ourselves right on the cusp of a real amazing beginning in terms of rare diseases. Big challenges, obviously. We've got new drugs coming in for rare diseases. Everybody recognizes that the fastest growing area in drug development is in the rare diseases, like a lot of biologics coming in. The challenges, as we all too well know, is that some of these therapies are very expensive. Some of them very expensive because they really do serve a very small patient population, and our goal is to really make them available to people, to also work with companies to make sure that the pricing is sustainable, to make sure that it is indeed affordable, that there's that eye to how we're going to get them to patients as well as just how do we develop them. Huge advances, obviously, in terms of some of the other procedures. Stem cell therapy, where you can actually manipulate the stem cells now and fix them up and give them back to people. We've got in the world the first real gene therapy where they manipulate the gene and they put it back into the patient using a vector, and in theory it cures the disease. We've got some of the leading research on that taking place in Canada. One of the projects that we've helped support is one that deals with gene therapy for a particular form of blindness. So inject the drug into the eyeball, which sounds horrible, but everybody assures us is absolutely painless. And it can actually halt the progression. Can't restore your sight, but on the particular condition that it has, it actually can halt the blindness. So, I mean, that's amazing when we think about where we are today. Some of the surgical techniques, especially for infants, again, we're pioneering those in Canada as well. So we're very excited in terms of where we are relative to where the rest of the world is, but also, I think finally, we're also seeing Canada making a huge contribution in rare diseases. I used to go to rare disease conferences, and you say you're from Canada, and people kind of look at you like, really? The joke that we used to have, and I remember saying to the health minister at one of our last meetings, talking about rare diseases and putting together a national strategy. I said, you know, Minister, we're only just trying to catch up with Romania. Because some of the European countries and some of those smaller countries where their healthcare system is not nearly as sophisticated or as expert as ours or as well resourced as ours, has already recognized rare diseases as an important area. And they've also recognized that people with rare diseases do need more support, more investment in order to get them to the same standard of care, and they're making those kinds of investments. They've also already adopted national plans for rare diseases. They're working across Europe to have international centers of excellence. So we're saying, you know, from our perspective, we really just want to catch up with where some of those leaders are, and some of those leaders are much smaller countries and less well-resourced than ours. So I think her answer to me was, I think we can do that. I sort of say, you have no idea how good the Romanians are. So I think in some respects, you know, we're doing well. We're way ahead. In some respects, obviously, we're still trying to catch up, but at least we're a player. And I think from a Canadian point of view, we are very excited with where that future is going to be if we can continue, continuing to master the kind of support that we've got. And as I said, some of the signs are really good. Some of the political hurdles are still there, but we've got more people, I think, on our side now than against us.